Hey, I'm Noodle Yeti, and this is going to be the weekly vault opening for all of my tanks, plus one more, which I will explain at the end. But this first one, let's get into it. This is our first tank. What the heck was that? Is the Fury Warrior. So, let's see here if I can find... Oh, I probably should have opened up the Google spreadsheets. Oh, look at that. I got a trinket and something else. Some wrists. But let's see here. What stats do they have? We got haste. Oh, it's the exact same ones we have now, but hero track without speed. And avoid Packstone. I think I'm going to go with the wrists here. I think that sounds kind of nice. Even though this is a myth track trinket, I think I'm happy with the trinkets I have. So I think I am just going to go ahead and go with these wrists. Kind of nice, I think. But I'm struggling to open up the Google Sheets here. I don't know why. Oh, I should have prepared for this. Give me 1 second. Alright, here we are. And last week, I actually upgraded a 10 Mist Satyrna Scythe and a 9 Dawnbreaker as a Prot Warrior, which feels really cool. I don't know why the key went down or what happened there, but I think maybe I just joined a pug. I didn't think I was comfortable enough to even try the 11 that I had, but that's what happened. And then this is where my IO's at now. And yet again, I did a bunch more keys as Fury, but either way, it felt really good to time that 10. And I'm starting to see why people really like Prot Warrior. It's almost like a cheese tank, where it's just easier than everything else for no good reason. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next tank and see what it gets. Alright, here we are on the Blood Death Knight, and let's go ahead and see what it gets. Last week I had to do 4 attempts at a key. Oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attempts at a key on the just to get 2 done on the Blood. It was a double upgraded 8 and a double upgraded 8 for City of Threads and Stone Vault. I was hoping to get I was hoping to get A10 done on this guy, but it didn't look like that was going to happen. So here we go. We got Haste Mastery legs, which we already got Haste Mastery on those. So I think I'm just going to go with tokens here, especially since they're the same track. If this was Myth track, I'd absolutely take it, but unfortunately not. So this is our IO now. We got an Untimed 10 Siege, and then everything else is 2-chested, which is kind of interesting. If you saw the spreadsheet I have here, it turns out that Blood DK is actually the tank that I 2-chest the most keys with. I thought that was kind of funny, that like one of the slowest tanks is apparently one of the fastest somehow. Anyways, go ahead and move on to the next tank. I don't think the Prot Paladin here is at the vault, but I did want to make a couple comments. I forgot about the talent thing. As far as the Prot Warrior goes, I did go back to the Ravager type build, and I'm really liking the rage generation. It makes me feel a lot safer with how I can upkeep, ignore pain, and shield block very easily for those windows. And then as far as Blood Death Knight goes, I did try out Sand Lane, but I just do not like it. So I'm back on the, what's it called? Deathbringer hero talent. As far as Prot Paladin goes, oh, no, that's Fury Warrior. Prot Paladin, it looks like I had to do 3. I actually triple upgraded an 8 Dawnbreaker. That was actually really cool. Disbanded a 10. I actually lowered my key by 1 and then tried it on 10. Disbanded it and then could only complete the next one. Very disappointing, but, you know, it is what it is. This is my score now. And let's see what we get. I don't think I've changed talents on this guy too much, but we'll look at that here in a second. We got another hero track shield. This one is crit burst though. I like these stats more than crit haste. So you know what? Even though it is a lateral upgrade, I'm just going to go ahead and take it. And then let's see here for the stats. Or talents. I think I am really enjoying Lightsmith. I'm starting to figure out how to take advantage of that. When to buff people, when not to buff people. Actually, I don't even think it matters when I do. I don't know if you guys can hear the helicopter, but apparently somebody is in trouble nearby. But I don't think it really matters when I buff people. Sacred Weapon, a chance to deal additional holy damage. So it looks like we want to be, what's it called? Buffing like melee with this or something like that. I'm not quite sure. They probably have some sort of algorithm to determine how often it procs based upon how often they're attacking or something like that. But yeah, I'm really liking the way this tree is. I don't think I've changed much. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and move on to the next tank. Alright, here we are on the Vengeance Demon Hunter. And let's see here. Looks like I had to do 3 runs. The first one was a disbanded 7 City of Threads. Then we double upgraded to 6. Then timed an 8 Necrotic Wake. This is where my IO is at now. Finally 2k. Kind of nice. Feels kind of good. I can't remember if I got the token for this or not. And then went to go buy a tier set or something like that. That one's hero, that one's hero, that one's hero. Maybe I did. I'm not quite sure. But either way, let's go ahead and see what we get. I'm not sure if I changed talents on this guy yet either. I think I did. And so we'll go ahead and take a look at that. Lateral upgrade, but yet again, we will go ahead and take it. I like the stats better than Haste Mastery, that's for sure. Go ahead and slap that on. As far as talents go, I did change them. I actually went more with a Soul Cleave type build and a... what is this? I forget what this button this is. Fiery Brand, where it spreads and things like that. I'm actually really liking this. I don't think it's as much damage. Let's see if Details still has it. It does. Wow, that's actually kind of impressive. I'm only at 537,000, and I don't know if I started recording soon enough to compare my damage from before this on this particular sheet. Let's see here if we can go my spec, sort by Vengeance. Oh, clear all and then select Vengeance. Okay. Damage on the left here, tank damage. So it actually looks like that's my highest damage so far, and it was an increase by a very small amount. It looks to be about like a range, but somewhere around 50k increase. That's kind of neat to see that it actually did increase my damage. Hopefully one day I'll get up to the level of that one Vengeance I saw that was like, I think it was like 800k with like only Soul Cleave damage going on. Like his was like huge gap between Soul Cleave and like anything else. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next tank. Alright, here we are on the Guardian Druid, and I actually only completed 1 key on this guy, and it was a 5 Dawnbreaker. I was just so frustrated with what was going on here. As you can see, we disbanded the 7, the 6, we upgraded that, and at that point, I just needed a break. So I just got up and went and did something else, and it looks like I just completely forgot about him for the rest of the day. And it looks like one person just left the group after 1 wipe, and I remember messaging him. I'm like, hey, like, why the hell did you leave? It was 1 wipe. We have plenty of... Like, if you look at these, like, death counters with all the timers next to them, those are completed keys. You can see in this timed key, we had 27 deaths. In fact, oh, that was a completion. I don't know why I recorded the times on that one. I need to get rid of that. I'll just leave it there. Maybe maybe I changed something. But either way, it's like you could see like 12 deaths, 11 deaths. Those are still upgrades. It's like, why did he leave after just 1 wipe? There was plenty of time to time the key, especially at the 7 level. But it is what it is. I think I was just frustrated, so I didn't do any more than that. But let's go ahead and see what he gets. Empowering Crystal of Anubicage. It'll get rid of our Delve Trinket, one of them. Which is kind of funny. We've gone the whole season without upgrading our trinkets. And we finally get one. Harbinger of the Weathered. Well, la-dee-da. I think we'll just replace that one. But yeah, as far as talents go, I keep meaning to change this over to try Elune's Chosen and try all the arcane talents, but I keep forgetting. I really like this talent set. It just feels really good to play. But yeah, let's go ahead and we're actually going to move on to the bonus player before we go to the Brewmaster. So let's go ahead and swap over to that. Alright, here we are. And as you can see, this is an Augmentation Evoker, or as some people like to call them, Observation Evokers. They love to get carried. But pretty much, this guy will only have, I think, like like a Mythic Zero vault or something like that. 603. Oh, I didn't realize they'd be. I didn't realize it did that many Mythic Zeros. That's kind of interesting. I think I actually have to read this now. And they're both trinkets. And then we get a cape, which we're not going to take. Release a toll of holy light upon the target, inflicting holy damage. The next 5 allies to attack will receive the Blessing of Merildar, increasing their versatility. Okay, that actually sounds like an augmentation type trinket there, because you're buffing your allies. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to go with that. That sounds really cool. I feel like that really plays into the class fantasy there, the spec fantasy. But the reason why I have the augmentation evoker now and why I'm starting to gear it and get it ready for next season is because of this stat sheet here. Now, this is one Azeroth TV's or Metro's stat sheet that I have modified myself to break down data, to collect different types of data, and then break them down even more. And I've noticed some really interesting things with AUG, and unfortunately, I just don't run into enough AUGs out in the Pug Wild to collect data on them. So I'm actually getting this guy ready so that way he'll be one of my characters I play next season, so I can start collecting data on them. I won't get too into it now because you guys aren't here yet, or you guys aren't here for this video. But anyways, basically, next season is going to be, I think, AUG, Brewmaster, and Fury Warrior. Those are going to be the 3 people I try and get at least 2 vault slots on. So yeah, go ahead and move on to the last and final tank, Brewmaster. I got some comments to say on that. Alright, here we are on Brewmaster. I got quite a few keys done last week with this, and hopefully I didn't just flashbang you there. See, you got a whole bunch done here, and then a few more done after. A lot of disbands. I'm starting to notice that now that we're in the 10 range and higher, our disband rate is getting insane. And if I want to show you that, we can go here to our weekly stats, I think. We go to weekly stats overall, I think it is. Or no. We want to go to the 10 to 11 weekly stats. We scroll down and you can see my success rate is absolutely abysmal. We attempted 32 total keys at the 10 plus range with a 22% success rate. That was 2 weeks ago. Looks like I only attempted 9 10s last week. Wow, okay. But the success rate went up, but yet again, the data pool is about a third, less than a third. So this number is not as accurate. So it's kind of crazy to see how low the success rate is here compared to if we look at the 7 to 9 one, which is a success rate of 60% on average across all weeks. All the fixed levels are combos. But yeah, I got quite a few done. I didn't get all 3 10 vault slots done, or all 3 slots on 10 done. I think I was like 1 short or something like that, but we just kept depleting last night. Or it was disbanding last night, so I just said forget it. I'm not even going to bother. But yeah, now I'm just missing, what is that? Court of Thrones? I'm missing that one on 10. So let's see what we go ahead and get out of the vault. On this guy, we are pretty much just hoping for myth track of the exact same equipment we have. So like here, we don't need this. We already have the myth track chest. Devout Zealot's ring, we do not have, and maybe that one could be useful, but it looks like we're actually going to be taking tokens for a socket. So give me a second here. I'm going to pause the video, and I'm actually going to think about this. I'm not going to be doing any fancy simming. I don't do any of that crap. But I'm going to take some seconds to look at my stats and compare. Alright, that didn't take too long. Pretty much my crit is already really high, and I'm still trying to figure out how to drop it while adding just a little bit more haste. Actually, I think my haste is good now, if I remember correctly. I think if I go... Oh, I'll get into it in a bit. So pretty much we're going to be taking the tokens and then buying a socket. But what I mean is there's a couple different builds, and I don't know which build I'm currently using. So I'm using the Charred Passions one, which gives me an 8-second window after I Breath of Fire to dump things like Keg Smash and Blackout Kick and all these other things into. And for this one, I believe haste is far more important. And I found that damage-wise, it's actually very similar to this this talent here. and this one over here, damage-wise, it's very similar. However, this one that we have right here comes with a drawback, is that if we want to take Celestial Flames, I finally learned what those people are talking about with Celestial Flames being overwritten. I didn't realize that it was only that the 5% DR on this talent only comes with the one use of Breath of Flames after that. I didn't know that. So anytime you Breath of Flames over that, it just completely gets rid of it and it goes back down to 5% instead of being a 10% DR, which I think is absolutely ridiculous and stupid. I think it should just be a flat, like, while this is active, you just automatically take 5% less damage if Breath of Fire's on them or something like that. But, you know, I'm not the class designer. I guess you could play around it, especially with Charred Passions and Scalding Brew. You could absolutely play around Celestial Flames, where maybe you make a weak aura that lets you know this is the current DR percent on target. Your next Breath of Fire will provide this DR. But I just don't want to make those weak auras right now. Especially when the damage output is essentially the same between these two talents and those two talents. I just don't think it's worth it. As you can see here, I did take Weapons of Order. I'm kind of on the fence about it. It's a really, really small damage increase. Even if I take Chi Surge over here, like I took August Blessing because I wanted to, my friend was healing me and he's a Resto Druid and I wanted to see August Blessing's thorough put with a Resto Druid. But even when I take these two talents here, it's a very, very small damage increase, but that could very well just be my current playstyle. And I have been practicing my damage rotation quite a bit for both, for this one and the other one. This one here with Salsa and Dragonfire Brew, you could pretty much just send everything on cooldown, and it becomes more of a priority list, where Keg Smash is your number 1 priority, Blackout Kick is your number 2 priority, Breath of Fire is your number 3. In 3 target scenarios, 3 or more, Spinning Crane Kick is your next priority, and then something like Rising Sun Kick to fill, and then I think if it's 2 or less, it's Tiger Palm instead of Spinning Crane Kick, and Rising Sun Kick is obviously before that. But it's very interesting. I really like it, and it's starting to output a lot of damage. If we look at my sheet here to look at my overalls as Brewmaster, some of these I'm doing very well on. Like this run here, I did 720k, and that was a Necrotic Wake, so obviously that one's going to be a bit higher. But you can see here I got 2 other runs up here. What is that? Necrotic Wake and Stone Vault yet again in the 700ks. But I'm anywhere between like 5.5 to 6,500. And it feels really good. I'm starting to really enjoy it. In AoE, I can hit up to several, like almost 2 million now on burst. But yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. Now, one of the things that I have been kind of going back and forth on is for this Salsa Bim one, using Breath of Fire as your opener to pull the pack, Keg Smash, Weapons of Order, Breath of Fire, Keg Smash, Blackout Kick, Spinning Crane Kick, and then going from there with your priority list. It's a lot, but I'm really enjoying it, and I look forward to next week. I want to finish rounding out my 10s over here. I want to continue practicing my damaging abilities or whatever, but I have been getting so caught up in practicing my damaging rotations in keys that I've been forgetting to do things like interrupt and stun and paralyze and things like that, so I do need to keep that in mind. But yet again, this is the season where I'm just trying to get familiar and practice and get good at Brewmaster. But yeah, that's my goal this week, is to time a 10 Court of Thrones. City of Threads, that's what it is. Man, thank you for watching. That's about it. I think as far as the AUG goes, I've noticed some interesting things with AUG in this sheet here, such as if we go into here, we go to upgrades, I think it is. We look at overall, Og actually has some really good. Why the heck happened to their names? Why are they grayed out? I need to really. I'm still working on this sheet here. Anyways, I don't know what I'm talking about here. I didn't really plan this out, but yeah, this is where I'm at with Brewmaster. I'm really enjoying it. That's where I'm at with all my characters. Next season, I'm going to continue playing Brewmaster, continue playing Fury Warrior, and add in an Og Evoker to collect that data there to figure out exactly what their benefit is and how they impact groups and which groups they impact the most. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the future.